fellow people. As you can see, I'm usually not the one introducing us, but this is Failing with Style, and I'm Daisy, and I'm here with my fellow host, Mr. Raul Dito. I don't know your last name.
I have a success.
Hernandez.
Raul Hernandez, yes. Sorry.
A success?
A success we have to talk about later on this episode. Huh?
What is it?
Oh, have you tried looking me up on social media?
Funny Raul.
Oh, change
yeah, that's
Everyone
pretty
loves
awesome.
it, actually. They were like, bro, I can't believe you got that name. I was like, yeah, it was there.
Yeah, it's awesome when you don't have to add any numbers to your name. That's the goal. Well, I'm pretty lucky. Like, I've always had a name that no one really has. So it's nice. I get a lot of compliments on my name, actually.
It's a great name. Daisy's a awesome name. So there you are.
Yeah. Do you get compliments on your name, or is it just like Raul?
No.
No.
In fact, I get like people saying my name wrong. I used to be an after school care teacher, and I had like one group of kids used to call me Mr. Rolo because they couldn't hit Raul. So just called me Mr. Rolo. Mm-hmm. A third will call me Paul because they just screw the leg. They're just like, it's Paul.
Yeah, that looks like a P.
It's a Paul. Or Raul. I used to get called Raul.
Raul.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, roll your R's.
Do you feel like that shaped you in a way? Like, why?
I used to think I had a very unique name, and then there's like a famous mariachi guy, Raul Hernandez. There's a few different Raul Hernandez. There was actually a Raul Hernandez in my high school, and we still like run into each other. It was like when like you meet your like alternate universe self. It was crazy.
That's pretty cool.
And then lastly, there's 3 Rauls in the Miami comedy community right now. Yeah, and it's funny because we all stack kind of perfectly. Like the younger one is kind of like the shortest. I'm like the tallest, but I'm the middle. And then there's the old fogey one, and it looks like if you lined us up, we were like the evolution of ourselves.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. You guys need to take a picture.
We'll do it. We gotta do it. Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, let's get to the topic today, which is, well, what should we start with first? Because I had a success and then I had a failure, and
I think we should talk about our week. Tell me about the success, man.
The speech, yeah.
I heard you got so many compliments. We got to find out about this.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude. So, okay, you guys know I've been going to Toastmasters, and so they do this thing called the icebreaker speech. And with the icebreaker speech, you basically present everything about yourself. And it can be 6 to 8 minutes long. But I wrote out my speech and it ended up being like 8 to 10. So that's what I asked for. And from the beginning, they're all like, wow, that's brave. Like, because usually icebreaker speech is like scary. It's your first speech. You're standing in front of everyone and you have to be up there for 8 minutes. Yeah. So I went into Toastmasters that day. Mind you, I practiced for the whole week. Mid-week, I decided to change my speech because I was like, no, this is not what I want to talk about. And then I switched it. So I had like 3 days to prep, whatever. It worked out because then I went into the Toastmasters event, and it's like an hour long. To like paint the picture, it's not like that big of a deal, but for me it is, because first of all, public speaking is very scary for me. The fact that we're here on this podcast right now feels courageous. Putting myself out there, it's a lot, but whatever. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So that's where I'm at. So then I presented my speech. Something people don't know about me is that I'm actually a really good writer. So like, I know that I write well because I've gotten scholarships through it. And yeah, like, and I've always been like, every time someone reads my writing, they're always, not always, but most of the time they're blown away. Right? I'm gonna toot my own horn here. So I stood up in the Toastmasters thing and I said my speech, and my speech was about my story. So I went through it and I used my notes, but I was able to gut through the whole speech. I did it pretty good. I don't feel like I messed up too much. And I felt like I succeeded. And then everyone claps, and it's like sort of the usual. You do your speech, they clap, like the meeting goes on. But at the end, everyone gives you like little notes, and they tell you sort of like feedback on what they felt, how your speech went. And so like all these people started coming to me after the meeting, and one of them, who's like he's been there for years. I think he's like the director of the Toastmasters, and he's like, Daisy, you're a very polished speaker. That is very impressive what you did today. And then somebody else was like, Daisy, that was amazing. That's probably one of the best icebreaker speeches that I've ever heard. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I knew that I had done well, but I was like, damn, these people see a lot of speeches, like I did that well. So, like, yeah, it was pretty awesome. So I got all these little notes, and nice. Yeah, they were just so sweet. A lot of them were saying that they were touched and moved by my speech, and like, the main feedback I got was like, you don't need notes, just try without the notes next time. But yeah, it was nice.
I got a few questions though. Was this the conservative Toastmasters?
No, I don't go to that one. I should. Once I like become a really good speaker, I'll probably visit that Toastmasters again. Nice. And try to change your mind.
How big Toastmasters was, but a few of my comic friends listened to our episode where you talking about it, and they came up to me later, and they're like, "Oh, dude, yeah, the top one of the toughest ones to do is the conservative one," and like, they're like, "Oh yeah, they're everywhere, bro." I used to do one in Orlando. It was like, it was really cool. Like, it's cool knowing that the community is listening to us ramble, I guess, a little bit, but it's also cool to know that there's a shared experience there.
Yeah, you should join one. It's pretty fun. It'll be cool.
If you're polished, I'm gonna come out there coming out like Barry. Okay, I'm gonna come out there coming like Obama and all.
Obama. Right? Shut up, bro. You didn't see my speech. You don't know how it is like when I'm prepared. This is very organic, but when I have a prepared speech, you watch out, okay? You're gonna see me on TED Talks soon. Let's hope. If anyone's listening, invite me.
TED Talks, please. At least give her like the TEDx ones, okay? You don't even have to give her the full talk.
Yeah, just give me the TEDx. I don't care.
So my next question: you just said you practice. How did you practice? If you want me asking.
Yeah. So I printed out my speech, and then I'm still trying to do that mirror thing. I can't do the mirror thing. No, don't do it. Why?
Okay. That's a torture test.
It is like, a torture test.
I did it because I knew I needed to get better faster, but it was gonna hurt. It was gonna hurt me.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
you couldn't even get through the speech. You just look at yourself and be like, why am I here?
Why? Like, it's so this? Like when you're looking yourself in your eyes and you're like, everything that's coming out of my mouth is caca. Caca. So, no, I wouldn't do that. The bigger things, like, I took speech and debate for a while, and the big thing is like not to like run around on stage. Like some people like have a problem, like they can't like keep their composure. Like there's actually like a very common practice that the speaker starts off in the middle, then they guide themselves to like the left, then they guide themselves all the way to the right, and then you close off coming to the middle. So it's kind of like a cyclical fashion, but you cover, especially if you're performing for an audience, and you cover the full audience. But again, the quality of the writing, which apparently, Daisy, you have some very good writing. That's more important than just your posture or how you walk around on stage.
Yeah. This is a tip.
So what did you do?
Tips. We should write these tips down and put them up.
Okay.
Anyways, I practiced in my living room. So I would have Eric listen to me like 5 times. Like I'd be like, I'm sorry, we're doing this again. And he would give,
It's part of the contract you signed, baby.
Yeah, exactly. This is all part of it. So I'd do my whole speech and he'd give me feedback. Then I'd try it again. And every time I would try not to use my notes. So the problem was that like in the beginning of the week, I had already had my speech and I actually was doing well without the notes, but since I changed it midway, I was like, whatever, I'm going to have to use the notes. But I was getting there. So yeah, if I had more time to prepare, I would have blown people out of the water.
Here's another little tip for people who need, like, if you need notes like forever, there's 2 things you can do. You can take a stool up there on stage with you, take a water bottle. And what you do is you slide your notes under the water bottle, so you have like at least like the bullet points you need to get to. Another thing, The Rock used to do this whenever he was giving a promo in WWE. Sometimes he'd be coming like right off of a movie set to go do like a big promotion for a big event for WWE. He used to write his notes on his wrist in like a similar color ink, so you couldn't tell. But so when he'll go speak with either his mic hand, because he'll look at the mic just for a second, like the position, but he's actually really looking at his notes on his arm. Hi, Eric.
I told him I was recording. He doesn't seem to care right now. Wait, no, but those are really good. That's a really good tip. I didn't know that he did all that. How do you know all these random facts?
I'm a big fan of professional wrestling.
That's sweet. What they told me about the notes is, you try to frame it into a story because it's easy to remember a story. So that's what you practice. And then it's okay if it comes out different every time.
Yeah.
But, and then so all you need to know is what stories you're telling throughout your speech.
Exactly.
That's another tip.
Let me tell you something that drives me up the wall with comedians, even open micers. Like, and I get it. You're also coming from jobs is also tough, but like, there are comedians who go up there literally looking at their cell phone the whole time, and they're just like reading their jokes off. And the problem is even if the joke is good, even if you have a great punchline, if you're not making that connection, that human connection with the audience, it's not gonna hit, and you're actually making the audience upset. Because it's kind of like disrespecting the audience. Yeah,
well, you're not making eye contact or like connecting with them. So, all right, let's talk about the failure, which is, we're going to talk about imposter syndrome today.
Yes.
So, I got blamed for imposter syndrome last week. And like attacked is what it felt like, because I called my brother and I tell him like, hey, I was kind of on this fork in the road. Like I didn't know what to do because I wanted to continue taking classes. My art is getting to a pretty good level, but I know that I'm still lacking foundation. But I was also wanting to maybe start a business. And I have voiced this to him before, like months ago, that I want to start a business, which is what started creeping to his head, I guess, imposter syndrome. And then, but for me, it was more of like, what path am I taking? And like, what am I going to focus my time on right now? So then, I'm talking to him and he's like, Daisy, he's like, your art is really good. It's getting to a level where like, if I didn't think it was good, I'd tell you to keep your day job, but you like can do it now, you know? And then he's like, so you just need to get on it. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is imposter syndrome. And like, I've heard about imposter syndrome, but I've never been blamed or like attacked with that word, you know?
Well, that's one of the things, like, imposter syndrome is supposed to come from within you, not from your own family member. It's supposed to be something you feel.
Right. So then, but like, I guess in his head, he was seeing me as like, Daisy's got it. I don't know why she's just sleeping on herself right now. You know, like she's not doing anything with the talent that she has. And so like it was the first time I heard it told to me. So when I would hear it, I'm like, oh yeah, imposter or whatever. But then I got blamed about it, and I was like, okay, I need to look this up. Like, why is he calling? Because it's someone I love, you know, it's my brother. Like, we're pretty tight. So like for him to tell me I have imposter syndrome, I start thinking like, what is wrong with me? So I started like looking everything up, right? And I'm like, okay, imposter syndrome. And then I have had it before. Like I've had it for 10 years, which is why I didn't make the jump to be an artist, right? But now I am.
Yeah.
And over the weeks, or like over the week, I was sitting in that. And then after like, cause then what happens when someone tells me something and like I don't really know much about it, I go hard on the research and I try to see if it resonates with me. And then after a while, I was like, Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about. And so then, because, okay, like, the reason he was telling me I had imposter syndrome was because he saw that I was at a level that I needed to do something with it. And he thought, okay, this girl is not, you know, living up to that potential. But then what's funny is that he had also given me another piece of advice like earlier this year. And his piece of advice was, if you're trying to buy a house, don't get advice from a homeless man, right? So I was like, I used that actual advice against him because I was like, well, he doesn't know anything about art. What does he know? And so I was like, yeah, I don't have imposter syndrome. And I like actually talked to some of my mentors and they were telling me how like I had exponentially grown. Mm-hmm. And for me and myself, I knew that. Like I know that I've put in the hard work. I know that I am where I am because I've done all this, you know? And I also know what level I'm at. Like, even though Kevin sees me as a pretty big artist, like, I know the standard, the industry standard that I'm shooting for, and I'm not there yet. And I'm okay with that. Like, it's fine. I just have to put in the work to get there. And I celebrate my wins, and, like, I'm pretty good on my mindset around it. So...
It's a climb. It's a climb.
Yeah, it's a climb. It's understanding that it's a climb and that I'm going to get there, and it's okay at the level I'm at right now. So it's fine.
Yeah. I think there's, like, especially in the world of entertainment, like art, athletics, stage performance. I think you have two mentalities. I think you have the person that you're always questioning yourself, so you are going to have imposter syndrome because that's part of questioning yourself, or you're going to have what's known as a shooter's mentality. So a shooter's that comes from like a basketball, comes from the NBA. So what that means is that a guy can miss like 50 shots in a row, but he swears to God that the next one's going in, and he's like so confident about it. Oh man, there's so many great. Like Kobe was one person that was always thought of like to have a shooter's mentality. Oh man, there was.
But it's not like delusional, right? It's like
it is delusional.
It is.
It is totally delusional because like some of these guys are just like. They're struggling. They're hitting a low percentage of their shots, but the thing is that you ultimately want always a guy like that on your team because you always need a guy who is delusional and who is like he believes he's Kanye. Kanye would be a great example of someone who is like a shooter's mentality. Like he is born for this, and everything he says is like the drippings of God. Like it's.
Yeah,
that's his
you
thought
need someone
process.
like that in your team.
So you need someone like you don't have them be the leader of the team.
Right.
They're like your Michelangelo. They're like the party dude. That's the guy you got to rely on to like bring levity or whatever you need confidence to your team. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I fall in the former. I'm always questioning myself. There was recently I was on a showcase with like 4 other comedians. And there were comedians that have been doing it longer than me who actually have like headlined like comedy clubs and traveled and stuff like that. And I was like, I have no right to be amongst these people, but I did it, and I did good. I do question A lot. Sometimes I'm driving, I'm like, why am I not doing like a college profession? Like, why?
Like, what am I doing with
I
my
should just go
life?
back to school, like, get an associates in like business management or something.
Be better.
I'd get like an online master's in
Yeah.
like, what is it, the leadership and administration or something. Yeah, like,
Go to Purdue.
FIU online. 18 months, you get your degree.
So you suffer with that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, imposter syndrome.
all the time.
You know, I've had imposter syndrome, and I think the way that I overcame it, is because I was like, so through my research, I found that if you are having imposter syndrome, it's because of something that you're telling yourself, you're not good enough and all this stuff. But you need to change your mindset around that, because then you need to really like celebrate what you've done. You know, like, let's take you. Since I've met you, you've been on this entertainment like run, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when you first told me you had a podcast. I thought that was like, oh wow, I met someone famous. Because it was new. I didn't realize that, like, it was pretty easy to do. But I was like, oh man, this guy's like doing things. And I was like, and in myself, I was even telling myself, like, man, one of my dreams, that this is aged out, but one of my dreams is that I always wanted to be on Ellen, on a talk show host. But that aged out. She's not that great anymore, apparently. But like, I wanted to be in that. And when I met you, I actually had already had that dream, but I never wanted to voice it because I didn't think I was good enough, right? Like, I was like, no, I'm just meant to be a nurse forever, even though I hate it here. And Raul has a podcast, and that's really cool. Maybe I can get on his podcast one day. Like,
isn't it sad though? Not sad, but like, it's rough to think that there are people who pigeonhole themselves like that. Like, forever, ever, they're gonna be this dead end job, or they're gonna be in this like 9 to 5 that's gonna grind away at them. And yeah, maybe they'll have like financial security somewhat, but it's rough. It's rough. It's one of the reasons I like thought about doing comedy full time, is like, man, I don't know if I want to be in an office my whole life. Like, this past week has been the first time I've been out in the sun. Oh, excuse me. I've been out in the sun for more than 2 days. It was 2 days I was in the sun, and I feel like, man, I miss being outside, and I miss like being able to enjoy things in the morning time.
yeah.
And it's something I think about now, like with like my office job. And I love my office job. It's given me so many great things, and I appreciate all my coworkers. I appreciate the whole administration and the business I was part of. But there is like now starting to become like a bigger fervor in me, like, man, you need to like be outside more, go fishing with my dad, like, I'm working 2 jobs so much. It's like driving me. It's funny, I was on another podcast, and the guy, he's a friend of mine, he's a host friend of mine, and he's like, "Ro, you okay? Everything okay?" Aww. Like, he wanted to like crack me open or something. Like, bro, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Leave me alone.
Jesus,
I'm
not that good as a comedian as I think I am. I have imposter syndrome.
You're like, I have a wall right now, and I can't have you break it. Yeah, but you should really appreciate what you've done, though. Like, you've made bold moves. I mean, you need to tell me what you've done, because I've seen you on like the super cons hosting. You've booked shows. Don't you have like people? You're paying people. Like, you're the
yeah.
Wait, what did they call you? What do they call you?
They call me. Oh my God, they call me Godfather. The reason why is because I used to, like, in my shows, whenever. So me and my boy Tarno's like my partner and all this stuff. And whenever like a show like does great, we made like this thing of like, we gotta smoke a cigar, bro. Like, we did it after one great show because there was a cigar shop next to the show, and we're like, let's be dorky, let's get cigars. And then it became like a thing that we would smoke cigars. So I would also always have like a button down on because I was coming straight from work, usually, to like these shows. So I always look like I was dressed business attire with a cigar in my mouth. So I did look a little bit mafioso. I did look like a little bit like Tony Soprano.
Is that when it happened?
And that's when, yeah, they like, oh, the Godfather kissed the ring, like all the stuff.
But why do they call you that? Because you take care of your people? Is that what
I
it
do
is?
take care of my people.
Yeah. At whatever costs. Nothing illegal.
No.
You're not killing people
great.
out there.
Nothing too great. You can go swim with the fishes, Raul.
Yeah.
But you see, like, I get all these praises and stuff like that, and I still am like, I'm just a guy. Like, it's like a deep built like imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, like the fact that I'm going to be performing at the Improv in November is still like bananas to me, and I'm like, man, I'm not worthy of it. Like,
But you still are, Raul.
I'm so young in the game. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And then like, so we had to change the name of the show, and they were like, let's change it to like the Day Comedy Show. And I'm like, no, you guys are involved. Like, let's like, bro, we all came from you. I'm like, yeah, it was touching. So we might change the name, but let's see.
Are you?
I might. I'm not gonna do it for sure. I'm thinking about it because I hate that. Makes me feel like I'm taking all the credit, and I hate that feeling. I hate because everything I do, this podcast is a 50% effort. This is like sometimes more. Sometimes like Daisy does so much behind the scenes that you don't even know. Like it's I hate taking like credit. I don't know why. It's like a thing.
But you totally should. I mean, yeah, dude. What's going on? We gotta work on that. I'm gonna put a slight pause here, okay? There's a slight pause.
Yeah.
Because this guy. Do you hear his clicks?
His clicks are pretty intense, but I also just got an Amber Alert, which just set off like the whole entire, like everything was vibrating at once. I was like, is there like a mini earthquake happening in my hand?
But is it bothering you is it picking it up?
No, it's fine.
Oh my God.
Fine. Eric, just type softly.
That click, babe.
Get us off tactile.
That click is it's
Daisy, we're only 3 minutes left. There's only 3 minutes left of the podcast. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I never get to interrupt you. This is my first interruption.
Oh, this is staying. This is hilarious.
We're almost done, okay? We're almost done.
Work.
I know, but it's you though. We all love him. Alright, I'm sorry. Okay, what were we talking about so I can jump back in?
Imposter syndrome. We were talking about that. I don't like taking credit for things.
Oh yeah, you don't like taking credit for things. Alright. I'm sorry. We're flipping the page. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying you should take credit for things. And I've been reading about like this. There's a difference between humility, right? And then for you, I think you're being too humble and not being like, it's okay not to be prideful, but you can be like humbly arrogant. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay because you do so much. Like, I know I'm doing a lot behind the scenes, but I also see what you're doing. Like, you're working a full-time job. You run a business. You're called the Godfather. Like, I mean, just let it simmer.
You're just giving all of these comedians that are listening to this podcast so much ammo to like crack on me, and then the imposter syndrome is gonna go crank it to 11, baby.
But the difference here is that you have to believe it in yourself. And you know what? I'll tell you something. I actually made a post recently on my Facebook about how, and my Instagram, about I finally started believing in myself, and it took a while because I didn't feel, first of all, my expectations and my goal setting was way too like was a bit unrealistic. Like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a story artist job in a year. And I enrolled myself in a story artist thing, and I was like, I am way over my head in here. Like, I do not have the skills. And I started feeling that. I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, but it's sort of like, okay, I came to the realization that it's not that I'm not good enough. It's just that I don't have the skills, and I can learn them and get there, you know? And sometimes when you're dealing with imposter syndrome, all you have to do is just keep working at it and then start realizing that through this hard work, you're becoming competent, and then you're gaining that confidence because you're reaching the level that you need to reach. So it's sort of like understanding where you are in the game. Like you say that you're a beginning comedian or whatever. I really don't know how long you've been going at it, but I think you need to take some time to step back and realize how far you've come from where you started. And look at your own journey. Don't compare yourself to others, because that's a trap, you know?
Yeah.
And that builds the confidence. You know, you understand, okay, I may be an entry-level comedian, but I've done a lot to get here, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And looking back and be like, man, I used to be there. Now I'm here, you know? So look at your own. Don't compare with people. That's such a trap. I used to do that a lot, and it's not good for the mental health or yourself. Everyone has their own journey, you know?
Sometimes it's just a look of the raw.
Yeah,
do we have like a good quote today? I feel like
you know, there is one about Oprah said it. Luck is just when opportunity meets preparation, something like that.
I think it's.
Do you know what it is? I always get these wrong.
Luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
I said that right?
Yeah.
Damn. See, I just pat myself on the back. Yeah, so stop thinking you're lucky. You're just doing a good job out there. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, well, where can the nice people find you, Raul?
Well, this is not imposter syndrome, but I have a new Instagram and actually new social media handle. I went from the old one to now Funny Raul. So I went Funny Raul. That's kind of cocky of me to say, because that means like I'm the funny Raul.
It's your job, dude. You're the funny Raul.
So yeah, Funny Raul on all social media.
Nice. And I am at Daisy Vesiana. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Not YouTube, sorry. YouTube is failing with style. And Instagram. And I'm working on trying to get on all the social medias, but man, I need AI to help me with these reels and posting.
It's rough, man. It's rough. And
or
also,
anyone who wants to work for free.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take interns. We'll sign all the little paperwork. I'll make you nice little letterheads and stuff. And
oh my gosh, yes.
But if you do ever have questions or anything you want to pose to us about like failures that you've experienced, or if you're looking for advice from us, remember to email us at failingwithstylepod@gmail.com. I think is our email. Yeah.
Yes. No, isn't it failing with Daisy
and Raul @gmail.com. Excuse me.
We'll put all the stuff down below so that
or you can
get
just Instagram
right
message us, or comment and stuff like that. We always appreciate those.
Yes.
All right.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Au revoir.